So this is Earl. He is 16 years old, and we have been together since he was 8 weeks old, and he has had his days of glory. I used to compete on him. He was groomed all the time in fancy cuts, and he was really, really good for it. Now that he's older, he cannot tolerate very much. He can't even tolerate being held. And so I'm going to put him down so that he's comfortable. Older dogs just aren't comfortable in their old body, in their own body. And so in this video, I'm going to show you a little what it's like to groom an elderly dog, and what your groomer goes through, and what the dog goes through. And my next video is going to be all about things that you can do to work with your groomer and to keep your pet the most comfortable during the grooming process. So we'll go downstairs and I'll show you what we're going to attempt to do next. Okay, so you can already see that he is very anxious about this grooming, and so I want to get this done as quickly as possible, but the most comfortable for Earl as I possibly can. So if you can see what I did with this lead, instead of putting it around his throat and his neck, I'm putting it around part of his neck and then underneath his front leg, because he's got a collapsed trachea. And so this is just going to help a little bit aid in not making him cough during the grooming. And so we're just going to start clipping his body. And I'm going to do him pretty short, just so that he doesn't have to go through this real often. And so I'm going to be putting a sweater on him for the winter. But even just me just lightly touching him just makes him just cringe and be very uncomfortable. On a normal basis, this dog plays like a puppy, and he's very happy. He's still continent. He can't hear very well, and so you know, we've taught him sign language over the years because I've had other dogs with hearing problems. His sight is kind of going, so that's kind of becoming a problem. You know, between the sign language and his lack of sight, because he can't see what I'm signing, but we're figuring out ways to do it. And so I'm just really touching him very lightly with this clipper. And you can see how he's shaking. He hasn't cried yet. Once I get to his legs, he's going to cry. And I'm not going to be hurting him. He's just so uncomfortable in his own skin in uncomfortable situations. Now, he isn't an unhealthy dog. It isn't that he's beyond his years and I need to be putting him down. When he cries, I'm not going to stop, and I don't want to hear any nasty comments. I still want to get this hair off of him because it's very important so that it doesn't become matted. Because if that's the case, then it's going to be even worse to shave him. And so I'm also not worried about looks. I don't care what he looks like. I just want him to be comfortable. And with him being this long and me not being able to brush him, there are some tangles in his legs, which you can see I'm struggling to get through with the clipper. And so that's why it's important to keep them you know, cut short so that they don't have to do this as often. There's always sweaters and jackets that you can have him wear. He's being very good right now. I'm very proud of you, Earl. He can't hear me, but he can feel how confident I am. And so this is why it's important to have your dog done by a professional groomer at this age instead of trying to do it yourself. Because if they feel that you are not comfortable with what you're doing, it's going to make them more anxious, and it's just going to make the grooming process even worse for them. So you can see me smiling right now, and so that's me telling him he's doing a good job. You can read my eyes. I talk to dogs a lot with my eyes while I'm grooming them. If they're doing something that isn't acceptable, I give them the eyebrow. If they're doing something really good, I give them a happy face, and it seriously works. So I just can't even believe I got most of this body shaved. He is not Okay, now he's going to start trying to bite the clipper, and I just really want to get this little last bit of this foot done, but I'm not going to push it because his heart rate is stressed right now, and that is the last thing that I want him to go through, is to have something horrible happen on the grooming table. So I'm going to take this off and love him for a minute. Not too long, because even though I'm loving him, he's thinking all I want to do is get off this stupid table. So keep working because he's calmed down a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to clean up the areas that need to be done with the shorter blade, like the armpits and the sanitary area. And I was thinking while I was cleaning up about what the things I used to think about people, customers, and this is so terrible for me to say this, but my God, when I didn't have an elderly dog that had long hair like this, I would think, you know, they would come in and say, well, he's so old and we just don't want him to get cold and he hates being groomed so bad, so we haven't had him done for a long time, and now he's really overgrown and we feel really bad, but, you know, and then I would have to groom this dog who I was just hoping didn't have a heart attack on the table because it was so old. And I would think, God, well, don't these people understand that the grooming needs to be done often enough? And, you know, here I am grooming my own dog who hates, and right now it looks like he's doing just fine, but he's very stressed right now, and he just hates it. And I understand now where they were all coming from, and I feel really bad, and I apologize to every one of you that I thought bad things about. And so this is really uncommon. He must be having a really good day because he usually is screaming by now. And everybody keeps asking me to make videos on dogs that won't tolerate certain things, and it just so happens that every time I go to make a video, my dogs, who are usually horrible for certain things, just are perfect for the camera, and it drives me nuts. And I need to get the rest of his hair off his face. And so I leave this little handle right here, and I'm using a different clipper. It's really lightweight, so I can use a real light touch, and I need to put my stupid glasses on my stupid face. Get this all cleaned out. And his teeth are so bad because he's 16, and I kept thinking, oh my God, he's so old. And I have one dog that we had to do kidney stone surgery on, and he was like 14 at the time, and he never truly recovered from that surgery. And so I keep thinking if I have Earl put under to have his teeth done, he might not recover from it. And so it's kind of a catch-22, because I don't know if I'm doing him more harm by not having his teeth done. I'm here with all of you. Like, I understand this, and you know, what do you do? What's best for the dog? And I don't know. It's a struggle because I work at a vet clinic, so it's not like I wouldn't be there to watch the whole procedure. But it's the aftermath, you know. Is he going to completely recover from the anesthesia? And I do have a really, really old video on scooping paths. I sound like I'm in a coffee can in that video, but it teaches you how to do it. So, okay. So then we're just gonna, after that, we're gonna clean up the bottom of his feet. So all this hair that's on the bottom of the feet aids in the slipping on hard surfaces. So also keeping their toenails trimmed is really important to help prevent them from slipping on the floors. You can also use nail caps, and I have a video on that as well. I should put all these links in the bottom in the description box so that you can see that. Also, dog boots work really good, and I have a video on how to make dog boots and how to fit them correctly. And we are not looking for perfection right here. We just want to get him done. So Earl does not look perfect by all means, but he was having such a pleasurable grooming experience that I wasn't about to stop videotaping, even though I wanted you guys to see what it was like to groom an elderly dog that is screaming or biting or flailing. He was doing so well that I didn't stop taping. And he is 16, so who knows, maybe this is one of his last grooming experiences. Normally we do this in stages, different sessions, and this was actually the third session. The first day we did part of his face and part of his ears, shaved him, and gave him a bath and dried him. And the next day we did his nails, or a couple days later we did his nails, and it just so happened that the third day when I videotaped all this, we were able to actually completely finish grooming him. So I'm so proud of him. He doesn't look perfect, but he feels good, and I thank you guys so much for watching. So stay tuned for that video on what pet owners can do to work with their groomers and make their dogs most comfortable during grooming experiences. So I'll show you how cute he looks and how happy he is at the end of this video. Thanks again. Earl, do you feel so nice? You feel so good. He can't hear you. Stop. He wants to play. Shh. Stop.